Oh, come on. That is easy, okay? That is easy.
Yes,
And remember, next year, I believe next year, Moana 2 will be
two.
released, right?
Yes, this is the favorite movie to my niece, for my
Ah,
niece.
your niece's favorite movie?
Yes, when I was no, she is 9 years old. When she was four, and the movie se estrenó. The movie
Was
was
released.
released, and in your memory, I am Maui in
Ah,
Spain.
Maui. So she's Moana and you're Maui.
Yes, correct.
Okay, I love that one too. Okay, super. Let's carry on. Let's continue. The next one, here we go. Good evening, Luis. Nice to see you, Luis. Hello, hello, Luis. Can you hear me? Come over here. Okay, Luis, welcome. I am playing this game. You remember yesterday we were playing this game, and this is very, very funny, very entertaining. That's why we are playing with Pepe, okay? So, Luis, please try to remember the movies that we watched yesterday. So, Pepe, tell me, do you remember E.T.?
Yes, it's very old movie.
Very, very old, right? And tell me, did you like it or not?
Yes, a lot. I like a lot was when I was young.
I believe this was very unusual. I'm not so sure the year when this was released, but
81, 83, maybe.
in the 80s, yeah, in the 80s, not so sure about the, yeah, 1982. Yeah,
Two.
1982.
Very old.
And maybe for that period, for that time, people used to have a really different idea about aliens, right? Because of UFOs, because a lot of documentaries, because a lot of science fiction movies with bad aliens. But this one's was like a difference, right? Because in this case, the alien is very friendly.
Yes.
Yes,
Did you remember a movie called Mi Amigo Mac?
my friend Mark. I don't remember this.
Mi Amigo Mac. It
Mac.
is, yes, that's it. It's the same age, same time, I guess. It's very cool.
Okay, so you like both ET
Yes,
and that.
yes.
Super. Let's continue. We're gonna do two more, four more. Here we go, Pepe. Name this animation classic. Okay. I
It's
believe this is the
70s.
oldest. The-
70s, maybe.
Are you sure? I'm sure this was even older. Let's see it, the
Yes,
movie.
7, 8. No, more.
No, 1942.
1942. Oh no, it's very old.
Oh my God, yeah, this is a classic one, 1942. And yeah, I remember that I watched when I was a kid, but I don't like it that much.
No, this movie is very hard. Very hard. Kill Scare Man. Man, this is very, very fair. Very
Okay.
hard.
Sure. I don't know. I believe for me, this is very old. I don't like the animation, the musical, so not that much. Okay, let's carry on. The next one is a musical. I'm sure you know this.
Let's start at the very beginning.
It's don't. Who is she?
But remember, Mary Poppins, she wears a hat and she has an umbrella.
An umbrella. Yes.
This is not Mary Poppins. Do you remember?
Don't. I don't see that movie.
Okay, in Spanish is this. In English is The Sound of Music, but in Spanish, I believe this is like the La Novicia Rebelde.
Rebelde. Ah, yes.
Have you
I
watched that
never,
movie?
I never liked that movie.
Yeah, me neither. As I told you, I don't like musicals that much. And of course, for me, this is very, very, very old. I remember that once my mother, I'm not so sure if it was my mother or my grandma, was watching, and I was watching with her, but I fall asleep. I believe it was after 10 minutes, I was just sleeping. I didn't like that much.
It's boring. Mm-mm.
Exactly, super. Let's move on to the next. Here we go.
Robin Williams. What?
No, failed. It's not
It's the
Peter
hook. It's the hook.
Hook. What is the meaning of hook?
Gancho.
Excellent. Garfio, no? Garfio. In this case, talking about Captain Hook.
It's a great movie. The two.
Okay, sure. And the last one, we're gonna finish with this, Pepe. What is this family favorite called?
Two. Okay, should. I guess. The two.
The Incredibles 2, right? The one that was released last year, I guess.
Great movie.
So you like both Incredibles 1 and 2?
More one, but the two is very good.
Okay. And that's kind of also kind of interesting, right? Because the first movie, I remember it was released long time ago, maybe 2005, 2006. And the new one was released this year. And I thought that people, in my opinion, was like, no, come on, that movie is very old. Probably people, it's not gonna be really interested. But in the end, it was a blockbuster. Lots of people told me, oh, this is an amazing movie. You gotta watch it. Children and adults, both.
It's a very cool movie. Good concept. Did you see Joker 2?
The one that was released this week with Lady Gaga,
Yes.
I haven't.
Maybe you don't. It's very bad. Very bad movie. Very bad.
Because
Please
of
see
this
it.
is a musical or why?
No, the musical is funny, but the concept is not good. Don't, the story is very bad, very boring, and the end is don't. If you want to see, you get in Cuevana. Did you see movies in Cuevana?
Cuevana, okay.
Yeah, there, ahí está. There are the movie.
The Joker, but
The Joker 2.
okay, I'm not really interested.
The Joker 1 is very cool. The Joker 2 is the worst.
The Joker one actually is amazing because it is like a masterpiece. As you can see, they portray the Joker as a person with mental problems. And the city where he lives, Gotham City, is actually a chaos. So he represents the anarchism because people are tired of the chaos, maybe corruption in that city. So Joker is the best representation of chaos, anarchy.
Yes.
But the second, I believe they don't have the same concept, right?
Don't, para nada, don't.
Is it about love?
Yes, it's a romantic story, sing a lot, but the concept, the, they lost the concept.
No, yes. Well, I read a lot of bad reviews and I told myself, I guess I'm not gonna watch it. Maybe later, not now.
For the Sunday, if you don't anything to do, see that.
Okay, super. So let's get ready, my dear students, and we are going to start talking this unit. Again, obviously, this is about movies, unit number 9. So what is the idea of this? Okay, please pay attention. This unit, we are going to identify how the movies, the way that we make movies have changed. Yeah. Remember the first movie, I believe, that was released in the 1900, I guess, 1900. So that was more than 100 years ago. But until now, as you can see, there are many changes in the way that movies are made. Nowadays, we are very, very used to the computer generated images, CGI, and also, obviously, more advanced techniques to do that movie, okay, to make that movie. So let's get ready, and we are going to start talking about that, okay? CGI. The meaning of this acronym is computer generated imagery. Okay? So, if you compare a movie, for example, Casablanca, this movie, I believe this was released in 1950, I'm not so sure, 1950 or 1940. Actually, you're not going to see CGI. You're going to see real acting, real effects, real scenarios. So, lots of a lot of more effort. Okay? If you compare, for example, in the case of Star Wars, that is easy to check. The old movies, the old Star Wars, as you can see, they use more actors. But in the present, the new movies that was released after 2000, they use more special effects, more CGI. Okay? And that is easy to notice, for example, if you compare Yoda. Yeah, let me share you a picture of both Yodas. And I want to know your opinion, Luis and Pepe, about that, okay? Here you go. And then we are going to listen what is the comment, what is the opinion of two people about the use of CGI. Okay, so here you go. This is really, really good to get. All right. So we are going to watch a video comparing the old Yoda, the Yoda that was released in the movie from the 70s, and the new Yoda that was released in the last movie, okay? So here you go, my dear students. Let me share you now. Okay, hold on. Let's take a look at this, and then together we are going to talk about this movie, okay? Talk about this difference. Okay, so here we go. Let's start.
He was trained in the Jedi art.
My only conclusion can be that it was a Sith Lord.
Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
I do not believe the Sith could have returned without us knowing.
Ah, hard to see the dark side is.
We will use all our resources to unravel this mystery. We will discover the identity of your attacker. May the Force be with you.
Master Qui-Gon. More to say, have you?
With your permission, my master. I have encountered a divergence in the Force.
A vergence, you say?
Located around a person?
A boy. His cells have the highest concentration of midichlorians I have seen in a life form. It is possible he was conceived by the midichlorians.
You refer to the prophecy of the one who will bring balance to the Force. You believe it's this boy?
I don't presume to.
But you do. Revealed your opinion.
Okay, so let's check it out, and I want to know your opinion about the puppet versus the CGI model. What do you think? Tell me, Pepe.
CGI is more realistic. Is, And the other case, you see a puppet. You see a kind of
It's
human.
pretty obvious that this is a puppet,
Yes,
right?
you see, yes. And
Okay.
the other model is very more realistic.
Sure. And for sure, the quality of the pictures. Yes. Nowadays, as you can see, a better quality, a higher quality. So you're able to identify better the details. You're able to identify better the expressions. And that's also a part of the evolution of making movies. Okay. Super. What about you? Tell me, are you there, Luis? What do you think about the puppet versus the CGI model? Hello, Luis. ¿Estamos ahí? Are you there?
Hello, teacher.
Hello, nice
Yeah.
to see you. Tell me, what is your opinion?
CGI model es la... O sea, es más acá experto porque el puppet no es experto.
All right. So, do you consider CGI or movies that use CGIs are better or no?
Yeah.
Sure. So we are going to listen. We are going to listen to people talking about that, okay? Please. Remember, CGI is a really common use technique that directors, that filmmakers use right now. But we are going to identify what is the opinion. So let's get ready because we're going to do a listening activity about this, okay? About the use of CGI. Okay, so we have two people that are going to talk about the use of CGI. Ellie and Nick. We are going to listen carefully and we are going to identify which of these sentences are true or false. They are going to talk about CGI, so obviously, my dear students, they are going to mention some movies, and let's get ready with that, okay? So, my dear students, are you ready? Yeah? Excellent. So here we go. Give me a minute, please. Let me show you my screen. Excellent. So here we go. Listen carefully.
Track 3.21.
Nick, it's time to talk about cinema.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing is, I have a bit of a problem with films these days.
What's that?
Well, I'm getting a bit sick and tired of all the CGI. You know, I go to watch a drama or an action film, and it just doesn't look real. It's the directors. They just seem to focus so much on cool special effects. They forget about the story. Think about classic films like Casablanca. They had absolutely no special effects. Just good storytelling, good characters, good acting.
But, Ellie, even Casablanca has special effects. You know those scenes where they're driving through the streets of Paris? Well, that wasn't Paris. It was all filmed in a studio in California. I think CGI is a fantastic tool for directors. Nowadays, we can tell stories that wouldn't have been possible 50 years ago. The Hobbit, The Life of Pi, even Star Wars. You couldn't make any of them without special effects.
But still, I really think special effects are used so much more than necessary. Take Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan, who made the Batman films, and Inception. He uses loads of special effects.
Yes, but he only uses them when he really has to. When he was making Inception, he filmed in 6 different countries to get the different scenes he needed. And remember that fight scene in the room that was moving and turning?
Oh, yes, I do.
Well, that wasn't done with special effects. They made a room that actually moved around. Leonardo DiCaprio and Joseph Gordon-Levitt had to fight in it.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Impressive, right?
Okay, yes, that's clever. But I think that just shows that good directors can have good actors and a good story, and they can also use modern technology. And when the technology is used with imagination and creativity, the results can be amazing, really spectacular.
Track 3.
So, my dear students, you got it, or do you want to repeat it one more time? Luis, Pepe, got it?
Got it. No, Luis.
Okay, let's check it out, okay? Tell me, Luis Angel, are you there?
Ya, aquí estoy listo.
Yes, sí, lo tenemos, we get it. Let's see. Remember, we need to identify true or false. True or false. So number 1, Ellie says that directors seem to be more focused on special effects than the story. Ellie is the girl. True?
True. True.
True.
Excellent, that's it. Number 2, Casablanca was filmed in Paris.
No. False.
False, okay? The story is actually based in Paris, but it wasn't filmed in Paris. But it looks very realistic. It was filmed in Hollywood for sure, but it wasn't filmed in Paris, okay? Number 3, the fight scene in Inception was made using CGI. False. Have you watched that movie?
Yes.
Okay. That fight scene when the room is rounding, turning down. Yeah. It's an amazing scene, and it wasn't made using CGI. Okay. And finally, Nick thinks that good directors should be able to use technology well. True. Okay. Obviously, my dear students, CGI is a technology that we can use nowadays. And the opinion of Ellie, I agree with Ellie. I consider that many movies are actually more focused on the special effects than the story. So I want to know your opinion about that. Tell me, Pepe, what do you think about the use of CGI in modern films?
I think the same that Ellie. For example, The Lord of the Rings, the first are very good, but the new is not so good. The story is not good, don't have not have essence. And the CGI is very cool, but the story is very bad, for example.
Okay, so you agree, you consider that the quality of the picture, the quality of the images is better, but actually not the story, right?
For example, the Batman, the trilogy of Christopher Nolan. This is a very cool story and have a very cool CGI.
Batman by Christopher Nolan. What is the name of the actor of Batman in this?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. Christian Bale. Yeah.
And the Joker,
Heath Ledger.
Is the best Joker in the story. The second is Jack Nicholson.
Of course, yeah, I agree. I consider, as you can see, it has good CGI and good story. It's a good combination of both. Yeah. What about you? Tell me, Luis, what is your opinion about CGI? CGI in modern films.
Ahorita con la gripa. Que es mejor que los Puppet porque tiene más realismo y aparte a veces se sabe notar en algunas películas que son los Puppet que saben usar, saben notarse las manos más o menos o sea, como un títere.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
In old movies.
Excuse me?
In old movies, ¿no? En las películas viejas, that is very obvious, right?
Exacto, sí.
But in modern films, they prefer to use CGI.
Por ejemplo, en E.T. también ese es un Puppet igual. y saben notar si va la mano.
Yes, but the story is very nice, okay? Yeah, as you can see, that was released 40 years ago. It is very obvious that the E.T. is a puppet, but the story is very, very nice. I love the story, so that is what she says, right? In the past, maybe directors used to be more interested, more focused on the story, more than the special effects. Yep. What do you think? Tell me, Pepe.
And Star Wars, the first trilogy, they have a special effects, but the work is very old. O sea, hacían escenarios en galpones enormes, maquetas enormes. It's a very cool job, actually, for the
Okay,
time.
so a lot of effort in doing the scenario, right?
Yes, very, very cool. I see the makeup,
Mm,
como lo hicieron,
making.
and is 3 or 4 galpones. For in one of them says hundred of people making a maqueta. It's awesome.
That's
What
it.
is
Sure. So, my dear students, now that we are really interested in movies and films, we are going to read this article about some techniques. Have you ever heard about the slow motion technique? Yeah. In this case, as you can see, they use clay. They use clay to make the puppets, right? So we are going to identify, my dear students, how do they do that, okay? The name of the film, yeah, the kind of movie is slow motion, but I believe the name is stop frame. Yeah, the specific technique. Stop frame, that means cuadro a cuadro, no stop frame. Let's identify how they do that, and then we are going to read also the way that Snow White and Pinocchio was made. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Can you read now, Luis? I need you to read the first paragraphs about the old techniques for making films. Go, Luis, read, please. Luis, come on, come back here.
Excuse me, teacher.
Luis, please read. You are going to read the left. These 2 paragraphs. You can do it, Luis. Read.
The how we were or the slow.
They are slow. They are slow.
Yeah. They're slow, they're boring, they not have any special effects. And that's the opinion many people have about our money, but some films directions continue to use filmmaking techniques that have not changed in nearly 100 years, and the result can be charming and fun. The Pirates in an adventure scientific theater bridge company Arman Animations is one example. It it took 5 years to make this extremely ambitious films using the store frame printing technique for every second of finished film. The puppets and models in each sense were moved up to 24 times on average. It took a whole day to make just 4 seconds of clean action. A total of 525 people, including 33 animations, worked on the productions. The skill of filmmaking requires great attention to detail. For example, pins were used to make tiny chains to the models. In total, 10 18 puppet mouths were used during filming to create realistic face movements.
Okay, so as you can see, this is the part that shocks me the most, okay? It took a whole day to make just 4 seconds of screen action. Yeah? As you can see, they gotta move. They gotta change the expression. So obviously, it requires a lot of effort in making these films. Okay? So, as you can see, the stop frame, this is a very technique. Luis, tell me. Okay.
Excuse me, es que estaba haciendo algo con una cerradura y estaban abriendo abajo. Por eso escucho.
Okay, no worries. Super. Thank you, Luis. And let's carry on now. I need your help, Pepe. You're going to read about the other old technique, that is the drawing. Go, Pepe, you can do it.
However, nearly 100 years ago, Walt Disney was doing something very similar. Back in 1937, his team made the first ever full-length animated feature film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. He also uses the stop frame technique. In this case, each frame was drawn by hand. More than 1,500,000 frames were using in total. The film took 3 years to make and cost 6 times more than Disney had planned. Snow White has successful, and it is still loved today by children around the world. This is no doubt that Armand animation films will be enjoyed in the same way for many years to come. Films that use modern technology may be dramatic and exciting, but handmade films will always be more impressive and fun to watch.
Okay. Do you agree with this? Handmade films will always be more impressive and fun to watch.
When I was young, I studied graphic designer, but my final work, examen de grado, el curso de grado, it was a film, is animation about señores vampiros of es una banda de acá, los señores vampiros se llamaba la canción.
Okay.
We make a film for 2 minutes, 30 minutes, and we have to make 24 pictures per second. It's
Drawing. You had to draw?
yes.
Oh my gosh. And how long? How long did it take you?
8 months, 3 people.
8 months. Oh my gosh. So do you remember, in this case, I don't think this is 1 million, but how many frames? How many frames do you consider that you drew?
In my case, I draw 3 characters, maybe 100, 500. It was hard work, hard work.
Drawing and drawing day after day after day after day after day.
Yes. In the same case of Lion King, Rey León, is the same. The drawers, los dibujantes, the drawers travel to Africa for 6 months for see the tigers, the movement. In the scene hay una escena en que hay una toma en la parte de atrás del león que va caminando y los omóplatos se mueven perfecto. Is considered la animación mano a mano es considerada como la mejor animación y más pura del mundo hasta ahorita.
The Lion King.
No, de la manera de dibujar, del stop motion o del cuadro a cuadro, es todavía considerado la mejor versión de animación que hay.
Okay, super. And I consider, there was a new version. There was a live action of this, The Lion King, that was released recently, but I believe that most of people didn't like it that much. They said, no, the original is a masterpiece, is way better.
Actually, it's my favorite movie, The Lion King. The Lion King.
Live action? You haven't watched?
Yes, no, but I like the old movie, the first.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it was way better, okay? And as you said, you see the effort they did in making that movie, okay? Super. So just to finish, my dear students, we are going to do the last activity. Please pay attention, and here you go, okay? All right. Just to finish for today, we are going to remember the ways that we can identify active and passive voice. Okay, so my dear students, please, here we have 7 sentences. We are going to check which ones are active and which ones are passive. What is the difference? Remember, in the case of active voice, we talk about the action that the subject, in this case they, do or don't do, okay? But remember, in the case of passive voice, we need to use the to be verb and the verb in past participle. And in this case, we change the order. We don't talk about the subject, no, we talk about the object. That's the difference. So just to finish for today, we're going to check that difference. Okay, so I need you to read. Are you there? Let's start by reading 111. We are going to read, and you're going to tell me if this is active or passive voice. Okay, let's start. Luis, can you read sentence number 1 and tell me, is this active or passive?
They don't have any special effects. Active.
Active, very good. Continue. Yes, Luis, number 2, you can do it.
Yeah. It took 5 years to make this extremely ambitious films. Passive.
Take a look. We have the verb with the normal, just the verb. It took.
It took 5 years. Active.
Active. Excellent, right? The translation, eso tomó o tomó 5 años hacer este extremely ambitious film. Okay, thank you, Luis. Continue, please, Pepe. You're going to read 3 and 4 and tell me, is this active or passive voice?
Here, a pin is being used to move the puppet's eyes. It is passive.
Passive, excellent. A pin is used to move the puppet's eyes. Got it? Super. Number 4, go, Pepe.
Thousands of frames were drawn by hands. I guess passive.
Passive, excellent. Thousands of frames were drawn. The translation, fueron dibujados a mano, okay? Were drawn by hand. Okay, as you can see here, we have the to be verb. The to be verb, and remember the verb is in past participle. Super. Continue, come on, Luis. You're going to read number 5, number 6.
The films cost 6 times more to make than Disney had planned. Active.
Active, excellent. And number 6.
Snow White is still loved. Passive.
Passive, excellent. Snow White is still loved today by children. Okay, finish. Come on, Pepe. You're going to read number 7, Aardman.
Aardman animation films will be enjoyed in the same way for many years to come. Will be enjoyed passive.
Excellent, okay. Aardman animation films will be enjoyed in the same way for many years to come. So what is the difference? Remember, in the case of active voice, we use the verb or the auxiliaries and no more. In the case of passive voice, we need to remember the past participle. The past participle, because we change it as está siendo usado. For example, here, a pin is being used. Un alfiler, un pin, está siendo usado para mover los puppets' eyes. Thousands of frames were drawn. Fueron dibujados. Fueron dibujados, okay, were drawn. The next one, Snow White is still loved today by children. Ajá. Blancanieves todavía es amada, ¿no? Amada, loved. And finally, Artman Animations films will be enjoyed, serán disfrutados, will be enjoyed in the same way for many years to come. What is the difference? Don't you forget, for passive voice, we need to use the verb in past participle. That is the key. That is the key. We got to use the verb in past participle, okay? So, my dear students, Pepe, Luis, do you have any question, please?
No, teacher.
No? Okay, so no worries. I believe that next week we can continue with unit number 9. Yes? And remember, we are about to finish. We only have unit 9, unit 10, and then we're going to do the preparation for the exam, and the course is over, okay? Let me stop sharing for a second.